This is wild. The Catholic Church is going through some serious payment stuff. I mean, like, an entire diocese is about to actually go bankrupt, which means they're going to run out of money because of how much money they will have to pay to victims. And so the Pope was out traveling very recently, and the leaders of these countries where he was going to were hitting him hard concerning this particular situation. I'm going to show you the videos in this particular episode. Sometimes when we warn concerning these things and all this idol worship stuff that goes on in some of these churches, and people don't listen. Yeah, actually, that picture is very telling. Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. What's wrong with you? Spirituality Show, the daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here to be show, check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out over there. And so, a Catholic diocese is going broke because they have to pay the victims of people who were abused under this church. Oh, my goodness.
A Catholic diocese in New York is going bankrupt. A diocese is a group of churches under the control of a bishop. And this bankruptcy will be the largest for any US diocese. Why? Because they'll have to pay more than $323 million to about 530 survivors.
Oh my goodness. 320 million to over 500 people. And there's been several documentaries, what you name it, talking about all these things that have been happening in this church. And they never listen. The same way we have it in our charismatic churches, Protestant churches. When things come out, brush over it. Spiritual papa cannot do anything like that. Here they have to pay 300 million because of all the dodgy mandam things. And it's not just that, it's that they kept trying to cover it up.
This is a historic win for the survivors. Despite the big payout, the church is in hot water over its dark history. This case is casting a shadow over the Pope's latest tour. The 87-year-old Pope Francis is on a rare tour of Europe.
So while he was out there touring, the leaders of the places where he was going and visiting, they were hammering him with questions and things like that and saying, Emun, what are you going to do? Now bear in mind, there have been questions concerning this for years. And every single time they'll just cut it down, make it look like there was no big deal.
Werd kinderen een vreselijk leed aangedaan.
Terrible suffering was inflicted on children, which they will carry for the rest of their lives. It is,
and they are saying these things right in front of him.
Taken far too long for their cries for help to be heard or recognized.
And when they say these things, he had to answer later on, and he was talking about forgiveness. They should, be forgiving and the whole jazz.
There should be justice, but when something goes wrong, we cannot accept a cover-up. Today,
which is what was happening. There was several cover-ups at the Catholic Church and so forth. And the same way you've heard in other people. I remember one particular testimony of one particular pastor in South Africa. It was said that one of his ushers was covering up when they found women not dressed. And people keep covering up. And now this church thingy is losing over 350 million. Over 300 and something million to do payouts. It's not just Diddy that's paying out. Even these guys. Sometimes when you hear these stories, you gotta pull back. Because it's not just all. I saw this other video of people that were kind of like reacting to a pastor who was arrested and so forth, and they were there praying out, supposedly praying outside, and they were protesting outside and all this kind of stuff. And then look at the point. They stand with him and what. He comes out, he apologizes. So question. So if you were standing with him, you were standing with him in error, because he went out and apologized for what he did. So you yourself were not in the right while you perceived yourself to be in the right. I don't know. Do they think about do they think about this? 300 million. Isn't that an error? 500 children in one diocese. And remember, the diocese, all this group of churches in that particular region, in one region. So imagine if it was global, it would be crazy. So I wanted to bring this into that story where people were protesting and whatnot and saying they stand with their papa or they stand with their spiritual mother, spiritual father, what. Because when they come out and they apologize, like about that particular one that I was talking about, when he came out and he apologized, so you were in error as well. Because it doesn't happen. You remember that statement that comes from the Winlow's film, Prophet Suddenly. They said, because it has not happened to you, you dismiss it as if there is nothing. Do you have to have it happen before you actually take it seriously? Strict Reality Show, to Daily Christian Commentary videos. No lie will be left covered. All exposed. There is no time to be hiding all of it. Ooh, 300. I cannot get over that number. 300 million. Covering up for over 500 people. These churches.